Welcome to the Daily Fox Fuel, where we train kingdom-minded creatives, leaders, and builders to become highly skilled craftsmen. Each episode is your spark of strategy, scripture, and straight-up truth to help you walk out your calling with excellence. Now let's get to work. Yo, what's up, Foxes? Hopping right into it today with this question I want you to ask yourself. Do you feel like you primarily lead with practicality or preference? I think this is a powerful question for us to ask ourselves and be extremely aware of as we are leading ourselves, our teams, our families, the mission we're a part of. If we are not aware of which of these we're leading with, it could be detrimental to the mission that we are trying to serve. Leaders most often default to what they like, which is your preference, instead of what the mission actually needs, which is often lined up with practicality. Now, I can already hear many of the leaders here being like, "Oh, well, what if practical is my preference? Preference is my practical." Well, listen, just own it. It's okay to say like, "Hey, this is my preference, and this is what we're going to roll with." And if there's an even deeper why to why the preference is the practical way to do it, that's great. Neither one is wrong. What I'm speaking to is being aware of the two and which scenarios require which type of leadership. Because preference, honestly, it comes from a place of more comfortability. It feels more ease. It feels like something that is easy to jump into. It's something that you can make a quick decision on, but it's not oftentimes the best way to lead. Sometimes practical has to come in. Practical pushes progress forward. It's something that helps the organization and the mission move forward. Patrick Lencioni, he's a brilliant author, working genius, 5 dysfunctions of a team. He obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to organizational health and structure. And he has this quote that I often refer back to, and it's the ultimate foundation of success is organizational health. And health is rarely built around one person's preferences. It's built on alignment and wise decisions. I think this is super important because I see a lot of leaders today determining health as their vision, right? As their preferences. Their preference of health is what everybody's preference of health should be. Everybody should be aligned with who are with the leader's movement of alignment. And I'm not saying go against the leader. I'm questioning the leader here of, are your preferences also aligned with the practicality of the overall mission of the organization? And that can be misaligned. The lead leader of the organization, let's just say the CEO of the organization, could be misaligned with the mission. So if we're following their preference and their preference is misaligned, well, we're headed down a very different turn of events. And I don't think we should blindly trust that. I think that there's a level of practicality, honestly, a skill God has given us to be able to discern some of that and say, hey, practically speaking, this is what the mission of the organization is. Are we shifting our mission? Are we moving away from that mission? Are we changing mission? Because preferences change, they come and go. It's like a feeling. It's fleeting. It's up and it's down. I could prefer the color blue today and prefer the color black tomorrow. It can change, but there's levels of practicality that just don't change. Like, this is where we're at. This is the mission of where we're headed. And if it is going to change, it takes a little bit more conversation and intentionality to do that as a leader. It requires galvanizing the team around it, communicating the change, shifting the change. You can't just wake up and change. And then it's like, okay, well, wait a minute. What are we doing here? So practical versus preference is really important as leaders. And I think that you're giving your team whiplash if you're moving between the two, or you're just strictly in a preference state. People don't know what to do with that. That they're not sure. It could be different today, depending on the leader. Depends on what they're thinking, depending on what they're feeling. So stay consistent and make sure that there's a balance between practical versus preference in your leadership. Honestly, even in life. Proverbs 19:20. Listen to advice and accept discipline. And at the end, you will be counted among the wise. If we as leaders are not willing to open ourselves up for correction, for change, for shift, for perspective, doesn't mean you have to listen to it. It doesn't mean you have to let everyone, and obviously you be wise about who you're letting speak into things. I know for me, I try to have a very humble spirit, which sounds so unhumble, but I try to have an approach with people who speak into things or maybe have thoughts and preferences on things where I balance that with the practicality and I process that. I realize I don't have all the right answers. I realize this is the first time doing what I'm doing right now. I'm okay with that and I'm comfortable with that. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to have all the right answers. But sadly, I see so many leaders that just stay in this place of their answer is the right answer. And then therefore everybody around them just only knows how to take orders. They don't know how to actually lead. Just because you put somebody in a leadership position doesn't mean they are a leader, but that's another thing for another day. So today, back to the point, check yourself. I want you to take intentional time today with every decision you make and ask yourself, is this preference or is this practical? And define which of those two in that moment is most necessary for that decision. That's all I got for you today. Let's go crush it. Hey crew, before you jet, make sure you share this episode with a friend and leave us a rating. Thanks for tuning in today. And remember, stay foxy.